Good evening and welcome to television.
There we have it, 226 nets from Mount View, and my name's Ian and I'm VK3 Quebec Lima in Fitzroy, just north of the CBD of Melbourne, Australia. So yeah, welcome to the net, and I'm the net control this evening. So that was all good, a bit short notice, but Neil will be back next week. What else was I going to say? Yes, what's happening today? We've got a good lineup. We've got Peter. We'll cut across to RTV 1, Channel 1 in a minute to see what Peter has to report on. And then Peter, if you could pass it back to me. I don't have anyone else checked in for RTV1. And then I'll do a short spiel and pass it on to Mick, VK3CH. And Mick, if you could pass it on to John, VK3ATV. And then John, if you could pass it back to me. And we have a surprise at the end, a great revelation on the Pluto, and a very simple application of the Pluto for using to access or to transmit a DATV signal, and obviously keen for people to explore that option, as many have it up to date, and see if you can we can get some more transmitters into the repeater. All right, Peter, if I see your banner up there, your splash screen. So, and I have somewhere a slide which, with a bit of luck, we can switch to Peter. So take it away, Peter. This is VK3 BFG. This is VK3 Quebec Lima.
Amazing stuff. Good evening, everyone. I'm Peter, VK3BFG, and thanks for the handover there, Ian. You wouldn't believe it, but my PC control for the ATEM shut down the instant Ian said, "Over to you." So we didn't have the smooth change over to the to this camera, and I did watch a little bit of last week's when I was using the lapel mic, and that lapel mic is definitely not going to be used again. It's not very good. I know it sounds as though it's hitting the top, but certainly the VU meter is not doing that, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Anyway, haven't done too much in electronics over the week because I've been using the good weather we've had to do some patch-up painting around the house. It's one of those things, and not something I particularly enjoy, but there it is. It's one of those things that we have. The 3rd and 4th of May is an activity. The 3rd of May is going to be the Wireless Institute of Australia annual general meeting in the afternoon in Bendigo at the Shamrock Hotel. And then on the 4th of May, it's the Bendigo Radio Electronics Club Expo. And that's looks like it could be something of interest for people to maybe drive up to Bendigo. For anyone that's brave enough, I'll be flying up on Saturday morning in Delta Kilo Charlie. There's a couple of seats available there if you want to have a little bit of an experience in aviation. Anyway, I'll be also making a presentation on amateur TV at the expo, and hopefully might be able to encourage a few people to use RBO, which is the Amateur Radio Victoria repeater up there. It's not quite as sophisticated as RTV, but it's a single channel and single frequency input device as far as I can remember. Anyway, I've got to research RBO to make sure that I give them a bit of a promo at the expo. So there it is. Particularly the 4th of May might be worthwhile coming up and having a look. There'll be the usual ham-festy type stuff with bargains galore and other activities, because it's the Bendigo Radio and Electronics Club. So there'll be other electronics type activities as well, I suspect. In and out of the ham shack over the last week, I've certainly got the messages and also the emails that are floating around that Pluto is in, very definitely. It's a very big planet, Pluto, but I think we all have some Plutos around the place. I've certainly got one brick one still, believe it or not, Bob, if you're watching, and one that's working. So that's something that I'll have a look at when I finish the painting and a few other chores that I've been doing. I've also stripped out my analogue converter, and looking forward to getting a situation where I can make a contact with VK3YLH in the old analogue days. So it'll be back to the future, as the saying goes. The guys with their icons went back to FM TV. Well, this is AM TV, so it's a predecessor of that. So it's as bad as old as it gets. And fortunately, I still have one TV set left, and it's a little portable one. In fact, I used it back quite a long time ago to work Rob on 10 gigs from Mount Dandenong. I can remember that. In fact, I've got some pictures of Rob's signal coming back. So I'll give you a look at it, a bit down memory lane, folks. So just stand by. We'll bring the camera around where we can see what's going on. So there we are. There's the little portable TV. It'll run on 12 volts, this one, but it's also got a pneumatic player in it. So I've kept that also because I do still have some pneumatic tapes that maybe I want to convert. So anyway, we've got a TV pattern generator here, so we'll just go back and have a look at what's going on here. We've got a situation where it just clocks up between channel 1 to or channel 0 to channel 9, the old channel 9s, and then it goes to a AV1, and I'm plugged into AV2, and there's a very nice colour bar, and actually the resolution is not too bad at all. It's a small screen, of course, so I'm sort of a little way towards getting receive ready, Dennis. And once I get the converter running, and I've got to recall Les Jenkins' little FET oscillator, local oscillator. I'll patch that one up because it's only a bit of wire and some FETs and a FET, so we should be able to get that one going and get a converter running. And once we've got that done, I'll contact Dennis and we'll make an arrangement, and I can develop a fair bit of power on 70 centimetres. I've got RTV spare 500 watt amp here if I need it, but I suspect I won't need it. Dennis and myself have a very good signal path, so I think that a few watts will be fine. So there we are. That's just something as well. And the guys are investigating Pluto, which is great, and generating some activity on RTV. And Dennis and I will have a little bit of fun with analog. And once we've done it, we'll pack it away and think of some other stuff to do. Probably get my Pluto running. So I think it's back to Ian from here. And that's all from me for tonight. So Ian, BK3QL to take it, and we transfer to RTV2 right now.
Great, thanks Peter. Oh, very interesting on the analogue. Yes, as I've mentioned before, I missed that episode of amateur radio, but I did work in analogue, but it was all closed circuit and VTR work in those days. So yeah, all good fun. All right, yes, I was going to run through some things. Just thinking, I might just run a quiz. Let's see. This is one of the easier series of the quiz questions. So 3 questions. See how you go. Right, so I trust you found that interesting and educational, as they say. Just the weather for the next 5 days for Melbourne. We have some warm weather, but not that warm. So if we then move across to looking up the tropospheric forecasts for the next few days, or 5 days up to the weekend anyway, and we see that it's not very interesting for the next few days, but South Australia is starting to get some interesting patterns coming through, and into Victoria. So, you know, there's lots of opportunities there, says he, looking for the pause button. So, yeah, so up until Friday and then a bit beyond, you'll find some interesting patterns forming for tropospheric ducting. Right, calendar of events. So as Peter mentioned, there's on Saturdays the 3rd of May, the WIA annual convention, an AGM and dinner. So you could make a weekend of it in the goldfields of Victoria. Sunday the 4th of May is the Radio Fest, which should be all-encompassing radio communications, electronics and computer technology, as I understand it. So that's coming up. More can be read about that on the WIA site and also on the Bendigo Amateur Radio site for the program and activities. The 10th of May, the next week, Saturday, is the Moorabbin and District Hamfest, Kingston City Hall, Moorabbin. Same venue as for the many past years. I find it one of the more interesting, one of the best, I should say, that I've enjoyed anyway. Hamfests in metropolitan Melbourne, so good time had by all, I see. The 21st and 22nd of June is the VHF UHF Microwave Field Day, and of course Saturday the 5th of July is the Hamfest for the Greater, I'm not quite sure what that's, Greater Gippsland Radio and Electronics Club. That's right. I knew. I was just testing you all, Richard. Thanks for coming up. Gippsland Gate Radio and Electronics Club. So that's a very good Hamfest too. I always try to get along to that one. And of course we've got our meeting. Actually, John should clarify it. The date. I believe it's on the Saturday. So I just haven't got an exact fix on the date in July. It's early July, but John will be able to enlighten on that when he presents in a few minutes after Mick. And due to popular demand, I'll run the harder or more difficult series of questions. I've heard reports that people have sometimes got the answers wrong, at least according to the answer given. So I hope people are finding them challenging. Right, that's all I've got for this evening. The running order for the rest of the net, as I understand it, is I'll hand it over to Mick, VK3CH, and then Mick, if you can hand it over to John, VK3ATV, and John, if you could hand it back to me, and I'll intro our next segment. So catch you all, and thanks for watching.
changeover. And it says I've got audio, so hopefully it's enough level. Alright, okay, Peter, with the analog 10 gigahertz stuff, yes, we've still got our 2 dishes outside. And I do remember going with you to some park, sort of near Burwood, I think sometime. You had your 10 gigs set up and I had mine set up. I forget where we were working to, but anyway, but I remember the nice sunny day. I've got pictures of it in the magazine, but there you go. I've still got those dishes. Haven't used them for a long time. And yeah, they're the ones with the coon, the 8 watts into the dish, so I'm sure they'd get a bit of distance. Alright, my story for you today is this. Bunch of leads. Now, what I did was I bought a pair of leads where it's a molded socket and there's just 2 leads going out. And what I had was one lead, I'll get back to the hides. I've now got the hides and the digital readout. Well, I've had that for a while. And when you buy the digital readout, they give you a 2-to-1, voltage splitter that comes with the unit. So I've still got that in. And I bought a double lead that runs it into the same thing. So what I wanted to do was to be able to have my auto muting switching, which was with the SR systems. And so I did all that and it was working fine. And I've also got a sign, 12 volt operated relay to say on air, so the XYL knows when we are transmitting. And so I went back to JCar to get another pair of double leads, but they said, oh, you can use this thing. No, that's all we've got at the moment. So I thought, that's okay. I can take out my lead that got sold with the hides. And so one lead feeds the hides, one lead feeds the digital output, one lead feeds my automatic muting of the television, and the 4th lead could have an extension lead going up to the on-air sign. So we pulled off all the hide leads, put this on, ready to use, switched on the power supply. The fan wouldn't work, the LED wouldn't come on. And I thought, something's wrong here, don't know what's going on. Switched it off, checked all the leads, yeah, it's good. Switched it back on, fan wouldn't spin. Okay, pulled the whole thing out, switched it on, up comes the fan, everything's spinning, lovely. So on further investigation, if I switch to this camera, hang on, and switch on my multimeter and find the leads, if I go to any of the fly leads, I've got to get used to where the camera is, and put that in there, and put that there, it's an open, okay? So I'll leave the lead in the inner section, but if I go to here, you would expect the inner section, inner to inner, to do that. No, but if I go to the outer, look at that. Polarity swap. And to prove it, if I pick this and put that in there, okay, and then I pick up any of the other leads, now, instead of being an open circuit, watch this. Look at that. So it swapped polarity. Yeah. Where did the swap polarity go into? The hides. All 13.8 volts of it. I'm transmitting on that hide still. So it must have some kind of polarity protection. But until I dragged the other cable out of the cupboard and put it into the hides. I nearly had tears in my eyes going, ah. And when my picture came up, I'm like, is there audio with it? Yes. And I'm like, so yeah, J-Car, I don't know what you're doing. I checked the specs on the website. It doesn't mention anything about swapping polarity. As you can see, if I go back to here, look at it. It's a molded thing. It's a, you know, that's how they come. How can that magically? So, you know, I must have got a some public holiday in Japan where they had a few beers and or wherever they're made. So yeah. So be wary of that. That's a new one on me. New out of its packet, so I've still got the receipt, so it's just another unnecessary trip back to J-Car, the Box Hill one. But anyway, and I still need to get another pair of leads so I can still have my 4 things, but I'm not going to buy another one of them. I'll buy the other leads that I've got. So yes, a tale of caution, and of course I've written that up in the magazine that I produce. So that's my news. I'm glad I'm still on air. So there you go. Seen all the emails about the Pluto. I think I'll just stick with what I've got. I do see, yeah, it covers all the different frequencies. You know, you can go right up to the gigahertz spectrum with it. So maybe when we've got more cash, we've sort of, when I went and bought the IC705 and the IC905 and you know, whatever else getting on there, that was probably my last cash splash. No more socks, the warehouse is sold, so my income stream is pretty much gone for that. But really good, me and the XYL, we've been together 8 years here in this house. And I've kept an Excel spreadsheet of everything I've spent on ham radio. And let me just... I'm going to freak everyone out. Let's see. I'm almost ashamed to say this. Okay. Put it this way. Since getting into television, so we're going back to the mini kits days, so probably 2004. On the electronic hobby radio, we have spent to date $38,329.27. And socks have bankrolled the lot. I have not spent any of my own private money or gone into the hock or begged, borrowed, stealed for anyone. Oh, and a few little Hamfest sales, but socks in the main. So there you go. All right, that's about all I've got for tonight, so I'll put it across to John, VK3 ATV over in Williamstown. So, John, if you want to start transmitting, I'm running DVB-T, so depending on what you're doing, the changeover smooth. So, yeah, drop a carrier now, and let's see, next Tuesday is after Easter. I think I will be back in time, I'm not sure. So, we hope to be around, we'll see. Okay, catch us later. Cheers.
Good evening, everyone. It's John, VK3 ATV in Williamstown. Thanks, Mick. First of all, we'll talk about the Amateur Radio Victoria annual general meeting. I think that's what Ian was asking about. So I'll just swap screens. So the AGM is on Tuesday the 13th of May, starting at 8 p.m. It's at the Amateur Radio Victoria Club Rooms in Ashburton. All members are welcome.
and it is also usually on Teams or Zoom. That hasn't been announced yet, but if you can't make it to the club rooms, it is available online. So I think that's what you're asking, Ian. Okay, not much has happened in the VK3 ATV shack for quite a while, actually. One thing I have done recently is pulled my DATV Express out of the rack. You see there's a gap in there at the moment. I inadvertently didn't switch the antenna on before I transmitted and left it running for a while. And not only did I blow the little amp, but I also blew up the boost converter. Now, one thing I did want to talk about there is that's a step up DC to DC converter. And I use it from 12 volts to 30 volts to drive the amp. And there has been a lot of talk on air about buck converter. That's not a buck converter, that's a boost converter. A buck converter is a DC-DC converter that reduces the voltage. So just wanted to clarify that. It's not a buck converter, it's a boost converter. In fact, that one doesn't do anything anymore, so that's a nothing converter. So I'll give you a quick look at the little amp I've got with the DATV Express. It uses the blue chip. That's the amplifier that is shown on the VK3 RTV website. So I'll just give you a look at while I've got the unit out and the lid off. I'll give you a look at my DATV Express transmitter. I've only got the one camera operating at the moment, so I'll use this one. So that's the unit there in an old Philips power supply box. That's the DATV Express board there. Then we've got the blue module amplifier and the boost converter up the end there, and basically just some switching and LEDs. So I've got to pull that out, throw that one away, and do a modification as described on VK3 RTV website. I'm going to take the lid off the blue lid, move the surface mount device capacitor across the tune line a little bit to get it to the to run on 1287 a little better. So that's my project for electronics when I get some time. Hopefully with the Easter break coming up, although I'm doing a lot of house painting, as is Peter. Hopefully I'll get a chance to finish that, put it back, and get back onto DVB S2. As you know, I'm running the Hydes, the Hydes DVB-T transmitter, which is working quite well. It's probably the most reliable transmitter I've had, certainly compared to the DATV Express. I've still got the analog transmitter down the bottom there that I can use, but that's an FM one that's based on the mini kits, and was an original build by Mick VK3CH, and it's still running with a few mods. So that's about all I've done. I was playing with the Pluto. That's still on the bench here. so the Pluto with the little 23 centimetre amp from AliExpress, and the boost converter to take that up to 30 volts or 28 to 30 volts. So yeah, sorry about the fairly unprofessional presentation this evening, but it was a bit of a dash. I only realised at 7:45 that it was Tuesday night, so rushed out here and switched on things to make sure it was all working, and I thought I'd do a presentation on what was already on the bench here. So that's probably all I've got to show you tonight. So hopefully next time I'll get the ATV Express back up and run something on DVBS. What I am waiting for on the Pluto with the Portstown 4 is the Portstown 4 won't take an external video on HDMI unless you've got external audio plugged in. So I know Joe's been talking about using OBS. I'm trying to have a standalone unit, so I did try the Easy Cap, or it was actually a cheaper version. You can see there it says Easier Cap. Didn't work. So I need something that actually specifically says Easy Cap, or there's another one that is a specific shape of HDMI to USB. So I've ordered one of those, and hopefully that'll give me the audio in, and I'll be able to get picture. And I unfortunately can't even get the Easy Cam to work with the Portstown without having an external audio. So that's my next project as well. All right, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. And I think it's going back to Ian now. Is there anybody after me, Ian?
No, it's back to me, please.
Okay. All right. Well, it's back to Ian, VK3QL. So thanks everyone for watching, and hopefully see you next week.
Right, great, thanks John. And no, for someone who hasn't been doing anything on television electronics in your station, that's you certainly covered a lot. So no, it'd be great. And Mick, with that lead, that's a trap for innocent players, isn't it? Come across that. That's amazing. Because I always remember the FT290R, the power for that. For some reason, the Japanese had decided that the inner pin was going to be negative and the outer shield on the 3.5 was going to be the positive, and that caught a lot of people out, me included, when I first hit that. But anyway, all good fun. No Hyde's device was harmed in your little experience there, Mick. Right, what's going to happen now is I'll just formally close down the net, but I'm passing it on to Joe. Joe has done a fantastic job in promoting, along with Rob, i.e., the Pluto solution, which numerous people on the net have been mentioning, and there's been some correspondence around. But Joe is going to do an expose on the Pluto solution, but before I do, I'll just mention that there's 17 on the YouTube channel, and I've got chat from VK3QSL and Bronson the Cat and Miles Smith. So there's not many people have come up on the chat this evening, but that's fine. Also, I had Mark, VK3PI, Richard, VK3VRS, and Pete, VK3TLF, has indicated watching via RF, I think, for the most part. So that's great. All right, I'll terminate my part in on this net for this evening, and pass it over to Joe, VK3TET. So Joe, if you'd like to I'll drop carrier on the big K on the screen, and it'll be all yours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in next week or the week after, depending on my availability. Catch you soon. All the best.
Okay, we're going to do a live demo of how to set up a Pluto with OBS. So what I've got here, I've got the Pluto, and I've actually intercepted my RF. Essentially, this case is my modulator RF remote transmitter. I've literally disconnected the bandpass filter from the mixer and just plugged it into the Pluto. So essentially the RF chain goes from the Pluto to PHA1, which is a little preamp, give you a little bit more extra RF, and then that goes into 23 SEMS RF amplifier, which then goes out to the antenna, or grid pack I should say. Right now everything's powered up. There's hardly any current going into the PA. That's because the Pluto is not outputting any RF, so it's essentially quiescent current, and I just leave it in that state. There's nothing coming out significantly, so it's not doing anything, and the Pluto's effectively online but not active. Pluto's connected via USB. It's the first port, I should say, next to the sort of flashing LED, and that my actual USB is actually going. There's a whole rat's nest of wires here, but it's actually going to a little power brick, right? And this little power brick has a Ethernet connector, and the Ethernet it's essentially powering it directly, and then that's going to the USB to the Pluto, and the Ethernet is going to a switch down here which is connected to the internet. Now, for the guys that buy one of these adapters on Amazon, it's essentially the same thing, but instead of plugging it into the power brick like I've got here, it actually plugs into another USB power brick effectively. So you could say that this is all integrated into one plug. It's actually from a Chromecast Ultra, and it's just convenient and it works. So essentially that is the Pluto. It's on a network, and it's online effectively, but no RF. Okay, so the next step is to have a look at the OBS setup, and that's the laptop here. At the moment there's nothing on the screen, so I'm just going to show you guys how the whole thing starts up. So effectively I've got a little OBS button here, or actually before that, interesting little device here. This is I call it a HDMI dongle. It effectively tricks the laptop or a PC, anything, into thinking that it's got another display connected. Why would you want to use that? Well, one of the reasons is that if you've got some apps or applications that require remote connection to your motherboard or PC, but there is no monitor on it, then you can't really have a remote connection because there is no display. So this is a clever way of tricking the laptop or PC into thinking that there's a monitor connected, but there's no physical monitor. It's like a virtual monitor. Why would you want to use that, you might ask? Well, it's a very handy device to have when you're running OBS. When you're running OBS, it essentially creates another display, and I'll show you. If we go to let's have a look. If we go to this different displays here, like have a look at the display settings, you can see that there's two displays, right? Now I'm gonna pull that dongle out. Here we go, and now it's disappeared. There's only, well, there is no two displays, it's one display. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug it back in as you're watching now, and magic, there's two displays now. Now that second display doesn't really exist, but it exists as far as OBS is concerned. Okay, so let's just leave it at that for now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to start OBS. Let's just zoom in on this so it's a little bit better. We'll start OBS. Now, I've got several things already running there, but I'll show you guys what I've got. I've got a display capture, and the display capture, if I look at it, it essentially defines another display, and there's my display here. I've got my main display, which is the primary monitor, and I've got my secondary display, and that's what I'm actually using. So what have I done? If I have a look at that, essentially my secondary display, I'll go here. See, this is my mouse cursor. I'm moving it across all the way to the right, and now it's actually on the second display. So you can probably see it moving on this YouTube video that I've got playing. So if I'm going to go off the full screen, let me just go back here. You can probably see, let me just, there we go. So if I drag this, I've got to minimize it effectively. Here we go. So now you can see it in that display. That display is that secondary virtual display. And the convenience is you can have multiple displays, you can have multiple capture devices in your OBS without having a monitor. So there we go, a little device that you can use. So see, if I drag that, there's my screen now, YouTube. So I've got a video playing here, and I can drag it off the screen into my virtual screen, and it appears here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to maximize it by going into here on full screen. So there we go, YouTube now is on full screen. So now my cursor is here. Let's just start the YouTube video, just some random video, whatever, and it's playing now. And now we're back to OBS, full screen. So what have we got? I'm not going to sort of go for a tutorial on OBS, but essentially I've got my call sign, time of day, some little graphics on the top, and my most important things are the settings. So if we have a look at the settings, this is OBS straight out of the box. You've got everything straight out of the box. The only thing that we change is the stream, and we have a look at the stream. This is the specific stream key that I've used in the Pluto. So if you have a close look, it's got your IP address. This is where the Pluto is sitting, at that address, that particular port number. 1287 is the frequency. DVB-S2 modulation type, QPSK, 4,000 symbols. 4 is the FEC, so it's 3/4. 0 is the output, so it's 0 dBm, which is the maximum output out of the Pluto. And there's some other parameters there. 128 is the audio bitrate, and my call sign, which is my stream key effectively. All of that is depicted in the firmware notes, and you'll be able to work that out. It tells you what it is. So essentially that's what you put in there. For my stream key, I've put in my password as well, or my call sign, which happens to be my stream key. So that's what I've put in there. Okay, so that's it. So the next thing we do, we have a look at the output. Well, simple mode, I've got it set for 3 kilobits, 3000, 128, all self-explanatory, all default stuff. Audio, 48 kilohertz, stereo. Now my desktop audio number 2 is that virtual screen. So effectively whatever's playing in my virtual screen will be my desktop audio number 2. Okay. The desktop audio 1 is my default PC audio effectively. Video 1080, and my frames per second at the moment is set to 25. Okay, so that's basically it. everything else is default, whatever OBS comes out of the box. So next step is very simple. We just basically press to start streaming. When we're doing that, let's have a quick look. We see that the output is going to go as soon as the Pluto, there we go, we've got current coming in there. So at the moment it's about 8 watts with one amp, and the Pluto is running and RF is being generated. So the receiver on our TV is likely to pick this up soon, and it will actually start showing you the image. There we go. This is the live image from our TV. It takes a second or two to sync, but obviously it's going at the moment. But the video, not sure if it's my streaming or whatever, but it's a bit clunky. I'm just literally just doing that on the fly. I have no idea what's happened. I'll have a closer look, but I just wanted to show you guys the process. That's the process, and you're on air. As simple as that. And obviously you can control the video, various things with the OBS settings. So that's basically it. So if we have a look here, we can see the live video on OBS, and at the moment it's reporting 3,600 kilobits per second. That's the live video. That's it. So hopefully that will give you some idea of what's involved to get on air. We can still see things. Right, so this is the stream setting. Again, show you guys what I did show you guys what it was. It's running it okay. Just to demonstrate, I can put some color bars on. So if I click on bars, you can see that the bars are gone on. Take a few seconds. Now it's on our TV, and here's on my monitor. So I'll put my other graphics on, and that's my test pattern. So test pattern will come on in a few seconds. There we go. So that's back on. Now, I think if I go back to camera 1, which is my Fire TV stick, it's playing the other video already. So, yeah, doesn't matter. It's just another video. Let's just rewind it and put the video back on the subject at hand, which is the Pluto. Right, so as you can see, it is pretty simple. For those of you that have an ATEM already, that's great. By the way, this is my OC, so I'm feeding the output out of the OC into, sorry, the output out of the ATEM into the OC so I can monitor it, and the OC is also monitoring the live RTV1 and RTV2, so you can actually see in there, that's 1 and that's 2, and if I do this, I will see both RTV1 and RTV2, so there's nothing on 1 at the moment. So that's what I use my OC at the moment. OC is not streaming anything, it's just purely receiving stuff, just a HDMI switcher. So if I go back to program source, which was number 4, there's the output. So yeah, it's as simple as that. If you don't have an ATEM, just have a OBS. there will be a section on the OBS. I will show you how to configure that in the next segment. It might precede this one because I'm going to edit it. But that's basically it. You've got an OC, same sort of setup with an OC. If I get a chance, I'll show you the setup for that. But ATEM, very easy. It works just out of the box, nothing to do. And you've got control over the PC. Pluto's on the network. I could literally go away with my laptop, right? And I can stop the stream, I can start the stream, I can control the switcher. I could be far away. If I switch off the stream, the RF will drop off. There will be QS and current going into the amplifier, literally no RF coming out. And Pluto will be just waiting to be activated. And if it is activated, it'll pump out the RF, and that gets amplified, and there's more power coming out. So easiest, cheapest way to get on air, a Pluto OBS. For those of you who already have ATEM or an OC, that's even better. You've got more control over your sources. Hope that is a motivator for the guys who haven't done it yet, and well done for the guys that have already been on air using this technique. Catch you later. Set RTMP string for the OC GoStream device. Okay, so I'm here on my laptop. I've got the GoStream software control. I'm going to launch that. So that's essentially well, the control panel of the GoC. Okay, it's much easier to sort of enter the stream via a keyboard rather than indirectly via the switcher. So essentially what we've got to go to, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit, so the image will be a little bit better. Let's have a look here. If we look at this here, we first of all can see that we need to get into the stream part of the interface. When you do that, you'll have this menu, and at the moment I've selected low quality stream. The reason for that is bit rates. Basically low will be the lowest preset bit rate. I'm not sure what it is, I think it's around 4,000. And if you are running the latest firmware, you'll have an option here to select custom URL. There's all sorts of settings that you can have, but one of them is the custom URL. Okay, so we select that, and then it asks us for the server. Okay, now this is this famous string that will be shown or has been shown already in other parts of this video. So essentially we cut and paste and we put in that string in this window here. Okay, so it obviously starts with RTMP, then the IP address, the port number, etc, etc. That's basically it. I don't believe you need a stream key, because the way that this is handled, it already implicitly gets the key, which is essentially your call sign. If you've defined the Pluto firmware with that, that's what it'll use. And we enable the output. Okay, so that's stream one. We can have other streams, but we're not using those. Okay, so that's basically it. Once that's set up, we can go somewhere else now. We can look at other things. Well, at the moment I'm actually monitoring RTV, and this is sort of online. So let's see if we can get something as a test pattern to see what's going on. So let's put a still on. At the moment image is oh, okay, let's monitor the output of the OC. Okay, so if we have a look here, go live stream. That's basically what is being output at the moment on RTV. So let's just drop that off and put that to the side. Move that to the side here. And let's change our output still to a test pattern. Let's have a look. Right. Let's have a look. That's okay. So this is the OC running what I'm running. So I'm here, and if we go live, we should get this RTV picture coming up in a few seconds, hopefully, if everything worked. This is all done remotely. My Pluto is really far away from here. I hope it's online. I have to check because I wasn't planning to do this. So I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work. It's a while since I've done this, so obviously it is quite critical. You've got to put a stream key into the OC settings. Okay, you can't leave that blank. That's why it didn't go. So you've got your string as before. Even though it ends with my key, you still got to copy that key in here. Now I suspect that you can put anything in there, but at the moment I've just put in comma, call sign, comma. Right, so once that's set, what I'm doing, this is my OC panel. Let's clear that. Where are we? So if I, my source or my program is my test pattern. So if we, this is live at the moment as this video is being done, which is 1:30 this afternoon. This is the OC settings, everything is set up. So I'm going to go live, right? And we're going to go, okay, go live. So we're on air, and a few seconds later, we should get my test pattern on RTV too. There we go. So that's the beauty of having the Pluto on the network. I have nothing to do with the transmitter. It's far away from here. Pluto is online, and I can use multiple sources. So right now I can stream from my laptop via the switcher, or in actual fact the switcher is just sitting here. But just to prove a point, let's just swap that still, and there is nothing there. Okay, well let's just put that the Windows thing, which is on HDMI 2. So let's just go live with that. So that should come up here in a few seconds. There we go. So that is live, and it's as simple as that in terms of switching content. You're really streaming whatever the OC is going to be streaming. And the OC is providing the stream key, and it's talking to the Pluto. Now, let's kill all that. We're going to stop that. So we should drop out, which we have, and the RTV script will come up in a sec. Hopefully, there we go, no signal. So let's just do something different now. We're going to stream, we'll minimize the OC because we're not using it. Just maximize that, hang on, yeah, just get rid of it. And right now, we're going to start OBS. Here we go. My OBS is kicked in. Now, right now, that's what I've got for my, well, streaming whatever I'm doing. So there's nothing really there, but just for the sake of this demonstration, doesn't need to be. I can have a look at my settings. So this is OBS out of the box. Okay, so the settings are out of the box. So everything is standard. When we go to stream, we've got our stream key, which is exactly the same as it is on the OC or the ATEM. My stream key is exactly the same as it was on the OC. So we go to output. I am using the advanced settings because I've been playing around with rate control and bit rates. Let's just leave it for now. I'll do a further explanation on this later on. But as far as you guys are concerned, you can just have the simple. So 3000 kilobits, 128 for my audio, etc. So everything else is pretty standard. Audio, 48 kilohertz, stereo, default, video, I've got frame rate of 25, okay? And that's basically it. So we say okay to that. And now let's just move this to the side a little bit so we can see what will happen. Don't forget, this is RTV live. This is OBS, and I'm going to start streaming. So we start streaming, and you can see the bits we're streaming, and we should get an RTV image coming up in a few seconds, which will be virtually a blank screen with the call sign. He says. Here we go. So let me just get rid of my overlay so you can see it properly. So here we've got live from RTV. This is the OBS. Okay, so this is the versatility of having a Pluto on the network. Okay, I can have multiple sources into the Pluto from different devices, different locations. Right now I'm running it from my laptop, nothing to do with the OC or the ATEM. It is just literally streaming it directly from OBS. Okay, cheapest way to get on air. Just get yourself some computer, OBS, and you're on air. If you've got an OC, you set up the streaming key and streaming URL as defined, and you're on air. If you've got an ATEM, you do the same thing, There's another section that shows you that, and you're on air. That's about it, really. If you've got any other streaming devices, like a Zoe box, you can set up that, and you can be on air as well. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibilities in running this. And just to show you what's going on, the Pluto software, I'm just going to open up a window and go to my Pluto, which is at this address. Dear, I got it totally wrong. 168. Here we go. So this is Pluto setting. We're on an Ethernet connection. That's basically what I've got set up. And Pluto is actually, is it still streaming? Yeah, I think it is. Let's just move. Let's just have a look what this has got. Yeah, I'm still on air. So let's have a look. I'm just going to put it at full screen so it's just easier for you guys to see. Yeah, basically, I'll go through greater details, and there's a little how to note that I'll screen thanks to 3IE. So that's basically the settings. If you want to know about the string, we can go back to the setup. Best thing to do is just start it there. This will actually that are defined in the RTMP string. So here they actually tell you in the firmware, in the so-called home page, they tell you how to set up the string and what each parameter is, etc., etc. So you can see it down here, and they even tell you how to do the OBS setup. So everything is there if you're prepared to look and scratch your head, so to speak. So look, that's about it really. I hope this is informative. There's been quite a few people that went on air already. We'll go through the list later on. I haven't got it to hand, but it'll be in this video. So well done, guys, for getting on air with it. I'm still perplexed that this firmware has been written in 2021, and not too many people have adopted it for RTV use, at least. It's been used for QO100, but not for streaming 1080p stuff, which it is capable of doing. Obviously, the satellite stuff, they cannot do that sort of resolution on the narrow bandwidth they operate on, but we can. So why not use it? That's it, folks. Until next time, take care. I think Ian's dropped off, and so I've got the privilege of closing the net for tonight. Thank you so much for staying up and watching the last segment. Also the privilege because of the lengthy segment. Hope you found that interesting. If you did, by all means, let's get you on air with the Pluto SDR. Until next week, thank you for participating and watching this net. All the best from everybody, and until we catch, take care and stay safe.